Hello everyone, this is my first teaching memo video as session 1 has ended at midnight last night and session 2 has begun. The Super Bowl is over and the Patriots went down fighting. Tom Brady may be the greatest of all time, but he does not play defense. Evidently either does the rest of the team. I thought I'd show you a couple of pictures of us, my family, getting ready. There I am with my Tom Terrific, happens to be my own name, but this is Tom Brady, signature shirt, by the way. And there's Dr. Laura wearing my Patriot sweatshirt because hers was in the wash. Can you imagine? Unbelievable. And there is a picture of my son Dan with his Tom Brady jersey on, and Luke, my grandson Luke. Luke's mother is a diehard Giants fan, so she's very understanding to allow her son to wear a Patriots jersey on occasion, special occasions. So that's a little bit about the Dr. Tom family. I always start off with a little housekeeping, and it usually gets less as the session goes on because you folks get used to the way I do things. By this time you should have completed 4 assignments located in Coursework by Week, Session 1. 1, the Academic Integrity Statement and Memorandum of Understanding. There are 2 of them. Some of you have done 1 and not both, but if you go into Session 1 assignments, learning activities, assignments, they're there. Just click on them and link will take you to them. The initial baseline survey, some of you, I did not have a form for that. I just had the questions. Some of you used the final baseline survey form. That's fine. The questions are the same. You just don't have to cite information in the initial baseline survey. So that's due. This next part people were confused about. You need to write your initial post to the discussion board writing prompt, and that discussion board writing prompt can be found in a couple of places. It can be found, this is session 2, I'll go into session 1. It can be found in the assignment instructions. So you go into learning activities, assignments, and you'll see there is the assessment literate discussion board writing prompt. So that's what you respond to. You write it in a Word document, as most of you have done. And when you save that Word document to your computer, then you upload it here. So it's not a separate assignment uploading your initial post here. Some of you were confused about that. This is the same initial assignment that you will post in the discussion board in your group. I'll click on group 4 here, and you can see Anissa, this is her initial post. So she has cut it and pasted it into this reply. So you reply and you cut it and paste it in here, but when you upload it, you do not cut and paste it. And I mentioned that in the discussion board video that some of you watched, some of you didn't watch. But if you went into Coursework by Week, Coursework by Session, you'll see the discussion board video is right in the discussion board assignment instructions. I'll just scroll down. So any of you that haven't seen it, this video here explains all of that. So I can tell when you haven't watched my videos when you email me and say, hey Dr. Tom, what is this upload your post stuff here? Is that a different assignment? Well, I explain it in my video. So make sure you watch all my videos because that will save you a lot of angst and a lot of worry and a lot of emailing Dr. Tom, although I respond. But if it's something that I've done, already explained, I will point you to it. So please don't get angry because I do that to save myself work and to save yourself having to try to figure out on your own how to do something. So that's what's due. The last thing is the optional discussion board. Most of you have done that, introducing yourself. Some of you shared a picture, some of you didn't. But I really want you to do an avatar and make it a headshot. Please don't put an avatar in of a meme or of your dog, because that avatar shows up every time you make a post on the discussion board, so we can see you. And it's to me, it makes it personal. Okay, who is that again? Because most of us do associate a face with a name, and so that please do that. Okay, lastly, I'm still waiting for a couple of people, not many, to respond to my welcome memo. My welcome memo is on the announcement page, and in that welcome memo, I ask you to send me something. Some people have sent me half of it. I asked you to send me 2 things. Most of you have done that, because as you know, I'm using Remind, and Remind, if Remind doesn't have your cell phone number, it will send you an email and ask you for it. So you can get my Remind messages right on your cell phone. Several of you panicked when on your written assignment, either your initial post or your baseline survey, wasn't uploaded on time. Don't worry about that. I do not take off points for late work, and it takes me, as you can see, it takes me time to grade them because I make comments on almost everything. So you have to go into my grades and click on your assignment, and you'll see comments by me. You just click on them, and you can reply to them too, if you want. This is the first time that Blackboard has used this format for commenting, so I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work. During each discussion board, and usually it's at the start of the second week, I will add what I call a teaching memo post, and I'll show you that. I think I have it here. There it is. There's my teaching memo post. You can respond to it or you cannot respond to it. I would recommend doing it. It's just a way to keep the conversation going and going a little deeper. And it also counts as citing the text. If you respond to one of my posts, that counts as one of your posts for using the text to support your comments, or responding to me. I consider that the same as using the text to support your comments, or using my video to support your comments. All right. Just a reminder that every year I get feedback that students are angry about not being able to post after the first 4 days, before the first 4 days, or during the first 4 days. That's okay. You have a week, 7 days, to make your initial post. So this session starts on Monday. You have to next Sunday to make your initial post. So whether you work 2 jobs, you have a family, you're a new teacher and you're overwhelmed, you still can take time on Sunday, Saturday and Sunday to make your initial post, and that's still an A. And I'm just rewarding people, giving advanced credit, A+ credit for starting the discussion early, because the earlier we start the discussion, the deeper it gets. When you upload your initial post, I usually don't make a lot of comments on it. I usually just check for a proper APA, and I'll make some comments about what's right and what's wrong. But there's a Purdue OWL's website. Some of you have said, I don't know how to do APA. There's a Purdue OWL website that will guide you in it. And I have a link here in my teaching memo. One of the other characteristics of the discussion board rubric is responsiveness and demonstration of knowledge gained by citing the reading. So if I didn't do this, if I didn't have you reference the readings, then it would morph into a 2-week-long BS session. And you know, oh, I like what you wrote. That's very neat. Oh, great. I hate my principal and blah, blah, blah. And that's when I didn't know what I was doing. Before I created this kind of rubric, that's what kind of discussions I got. people just bitching and moaning about their job or their life or me. So you have to do that. For an A, you have to do it in 4 of your 5 response posts. For A+, I think you have to do it in 5 of your 9 response posts. So keep that in mind. Lastly, when you share a reference that contains a website, use the link icon in the menu to make your link clickable. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. All right, you'll see in my post here that these links, when you put the cursor there, you see the finger, that means they're live. So the way you do that is, and you're able to edit your post, by the way. So what you do is you highlight what you want the link to go to, you click on the link icon, and then you cut and paste the link into this path right here. All right, now the other important step is you need to click on this drop-down box here and click on Open in New Window. That way it opens a new window and it doesn't take you out of Blackboard. It just takes you to, just opens another tab on your browser. Now you can see here that I put the title in here. You don't have to do that, but if you do, when you see your finger goes over there, it tells you what the link is. Untitled Assessment and Learning. So that's just a little hint on making your links active. And a lot of you are doing links, and I'm really excited about that. Some of the big ideas. Every session I'll talk about the big ideas, if there are some misconceptions, and usually I just talk about some great posts we make. This session I just wanted you to get your feet wet regarding assessment. What's good, what's bad, and how we may be able to use the process to increase student achievement. So many of the discussions centered around the appropriateness of large-scale accountability tests. We will be exploring these, how they're made, and how they compare with teacher-made tests, which no one seems to mind. Keep an open mind. Just because you did not do well on them does not make them worthless. Many of you wrote about formative assessment, which according to Black and Willem is one of the most powerful interventions a teacher can use to improve academic achievement. So if you plan on being assessment literate, this is the way to go. Please look at additional course materials and download the article there on formative assessment. Good stuff. You also find a folder there on pre-K assessment, and I've been interacting with some people and showing them or pointing them to the additional course materials folder, and I don't talk or cover or get into pre-K assessment, but if you scroll down right at the end, you'll see that I have early childhood assessment, and I'm adding to that all the time. So pre-K assessment forms here, 2-year-old checklist, 20 tips for parents for preschool teachers. This is a New York City BOE site or DOE site, and this is a little primer on early childhood assessment. So again, I'm not going into that in any depth, but I am asking the preschool teachers to talk a little bit about it and share stuff about it and find information that we all can use about it. Remember, I'm not the only teacher in these 3 courses, 3 sections that I have. Many of you are taking the lead in sharing quote-unquote relevant websites, which is exactly how I want these conversations to go. In one section, Jenna shared 10 innovative formative assessments, and I have that link here in my teaching memo. In another, Rita shared an excellent article explaining assessments to parents, which I think is very important. And the champion so far of making these discussions inquiry-based is Brianna and Chrissy, who have added a link to almost every post they have made. Learning targets will be the big idea of this course. Having specific, measurable, and student-friendly goals is imperative to have students master the standards. In my 64021 section, Danielle and I got into a discussion about the worth of having students track their own goals. After I shared an informative article by Marzano, which you can find a link to in my teaching memo, she shared one on the power of students. She shared a link to a terrific video where a teacher was sharing, was actually tracking students' goals, had information on the board showing progress, showing 70%, 80% of classes attained its goal, and students explaining, having a sheet saying, yes, I did this one and I did this one. So that's very powerful, and I want to thank Danielle for sharing that. If I think you share something that should be added to my course, I will put it in the syllabus and on Blackboard. I've done that once already with a link that Megan shared in 64021 on technology and assessment, which again, the link is in my teaching memo, which I think everyone should check out. So keep up the great sleuthing and adding material to our discussions in the course. That's it for this part of the teaching memo. I will have another memo explaining our assignments for session 2. You will find that in the Learning Activities Assignments folder. You'll see the video right in the folder. So that's where I'll explain the assignments.